What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to A Voice from the Corner. I'm joined today by my co-host, Dan, the Vanilla Gorilla.
That's it, Vanilla Gorilla, that's it.
So, why do they call you that, Dan?
Pete, you don't want to know, mate. Well, you know the answer to that, but it's not something we're going to right now. But yeah, that's nickname.
We're here today going to talk about me Michael Gomez fight. A lot of people are messaging in and asking, what really happened in that fight. So, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go back to it from the start, the training camp and all that sort of thing. So any questions you want to ask before we start?
Well, listen, what I would say, look, obviously, as a long-term pal of yours, Pete, when I speak to people, when people know that I know you, one of the first questions they ask is relating to that fight. I mean, for real fight fans, modern fight fans, not these new wave boxing fans that you've got like sort of in recent years, see it as quite a controversial fight. Now, obviously, it was an Irish title fight. Two English-based fighters.
Yeah.
But you were born in Galway, I believe. Yeah. Michael was apparently born in
Longford. Yeah.
So it's two English-speaking or English-sounding geezers fighting for an Irish title, and very heavily favoured fighter Gomez.
Yeah.
And it ended in I don't know how to say it, controversial, different or bizarre fashion.
Yeah.
So people always ask, like, what happened with that story? Like, what do you know about that fight? What's the crack with the fight? Have you spoke to Pete about it? Was it a fix, or was there something behind it, or did he just out battling mentally? Obviously, you had Yuri Geller there, which is an interesting thing, the mental side of things. But yeah, I mean, that for real fight fans who know you and know your career, that is one of the standout moments, and I think it's something that people want to know more about. So I think that is probably what people want to know. So,
obviously, it was the biggest moment of my life, the biggest fight of my life, and as I'll go on to later in this interview.
Interview, it's a conversation.
Yeah, combo. But I'm saying, it was definitely my best win of my career, and let's not faint that it was the best win of my career. Again, I'll go back to the end of what I'm saying. Let's go back to the start of the training camp. Obviously, I was going to the press conference with.
How did the fight come about? I mean, like, obviously, tell us about it. Was it a vacant title? Was he the title holder? What happened?
Basically, he was fighting for the WBU world title because he was already a WBU world champion, a version of a world title which Ricky Hatton made very famous back in them days. And obviously, they was from the same camp. You had Billy Graham in his corner, and he was going to fight a kid called Danny Hunt, and they was offering big money. I know he was getting good money for the fight, but he didn't fancy. I don't think he fancied the fight. I don't know what happened.
Gomez didn't.
Yeah, Gomez. Yeah, no. Danny Hunt.
What was Danny Hunt's pedigree?
Danny Hunt was, I think he was about 18 and one. Good fighter, Danny Hunt. I used to train in the same gym as him, but all I was always barking out for was an opportunity. I knew how good a fighter I was, but I was just never given the opportunity. I've done it the hard way from the start. When I won the Southern Area title, I beat Chill John and eliminated. Chill John was a good fighter. Chill John was managed by Eubank Senior. He was a good fighter, and they thought he was going to turn me over in Brighton, but I went and stopped Chill John in 2 rounds. Then I got the fight with John Honey for the Southern Area title. I beat John Honey. Then they left me out the ring for 8 months. And then they said, we're going to bring you back with a nice easy one. A man called David Burke. David Burke went to the Olympics, was a top fighter. Anyone knows David Burke. Like I say, he's probably one of the hardest fights I've ever had in my career.
Who left you out for 8 months?
I think it's just,
I mean, who was managing you at the time? Who were your promotion team behind you? I mean,
I was with Eugene Maloney and Frank Maloney, and then what happened was, they messed up the fight for me. I fought a kid called Catweasel, and he beat me the first time over 6-2. So I said, look, I don't fight over 2-minute rounds. I'm 3-minute rounds. I'm a pro, and I knew I'd be longer over the longer rounds because I used to spar with Colin Dunton in 12 rounds, like when my career first started. So I said, look, get that fight again for me. I'll beat him over 3 minutes. He said, if you can't beat him over 2, you're not going to beat him over 3. They got me another fight in between, which I lost because I wasn't even interested. I was just wanting to fight Cat Weasel again. The kid I should have beat easy. But I wanted to fight Cat Weasel, and I got the Cat Weasel fight again and absolutely boxed his ears off over 3-minute rounds. So then I realised that they ain't doing the right job for me. I'm going to go and manage myself. So I managed myself, and I've got a man called Jim Evans to help out with me management. He's an old guy now. Jim is a very nice man. But Jim was one of them people who was a proper old school, hardcore, let's just get this fight. You know, we're just fighting. He'd fight anyone, do you know what I mean? He was one of them people, which is good. That's what boxing should be. We all know that's what boxing should be.
100%.
And if anyone knows my career, they know I didn't swerve anyone. I did towards the end, but I'll tell you the reasons why I did towards the end. But for me, the Gomez fight, going back to the Gomez fight, obviously we can sit here and talk about my career all day, but let's just talk. What people.
So what was that fight, mate?
Because I kept calling it out. I said, I want to fight him. And he ended up wanting to fight for the Irish title. So I said, I'm up for it. I'll fight him. You know what I mean? I was brought up as an opponent. I'll fight him.
So your previous fight to the Gomez fight was what?
I think my previous... Do you know what? I don't even know what my previous fight was. No. I don't even know what my previous fight was.
You're going in on a winning streak now?
No, I'm not going in. I lost 11. I lost 11.
Prior to that fight?
Yeah, I lost 11 prior to that fight. Like I said, you know, I've been robbed more times than Barclays Bank. You know, so...
They've robbing us.
Again, what you got to realise is, so what happened was, I got the Gomez fight, yeah? I started training camp for the Gomez fight. But this is what I want to tell people, that they give me the script, but I was supposed to lose, right? I was supposed to lose, but I had 12 weeks training camp.
But at the time, were you accustomed to 12-week training?
No,
camps?
I never.
In your post,
yeah.
Anyone's seen the fight, your post-fight interview, you remark on that. You said I finally had a chance to properly
show people what I've got. Listen, let's not forget who I was as an amateur. I was number 5 in the country until I got banged up for attempted murder. So at the end of the day, I think I would have won the ABAs that year. So that set aside, when I come out near on turning into an alcoholic and messed around and this and that, you know, I've got my career back on track and I've got this opportunity to fight Gomez. And this was it's the biggest fight of my life. Again, going back to the 12-week training camp, I was 2 weeks into the training camp. I was sitting in McDonald's in Epsom. I had a Big Mac, and I had it in my mouth, and I took the bite out of the Big Mac. As I've done, you see, I've been eating Big Macs now, the weight on me. But I've been eating...
nickname, isn't it?
Big Mac, yeah. But I used to be Little Mac, now I'm Big Mac. But I was biting the Big Mac, and I get the phone off, call Frank Maloney. The Sky show's going to be called off. Can you jump in and fight someone? I said, when? He said, in 4 hours' time. I didn't even ask how much money. I said, yes, I'll be there. Straight in the car, straight down. It took me about 3.5 hours to get there. Straight in the ring, boxed, come home. And I said to my missus, I've just boxed tonight. She said, you're under contract, you can't box. I was under contract to fight in Gomez because I was in training camp already. So don't worry, I won. And it puts another little fight in the bag. So it was a little sparring match. But like I say, what we got to realise here with these boxing records, kids who turn pro now, you know, he's 16, I know this kid. Listen, these box kids that, no disrespect, these ain't even journeymen anymore. These are just kids they pull off the street and put them in with other kids. Like, boxing's changed so much, even since my time at boxing. I mean, I've only retired a year and a half, but even since my time. But not taking nothing away from anyone, but it's not real. It's not as real, and it's a lot worse than what it has been. Do you know what I mean?
No, 100%. Records are for DJs.
They
are for DJs, as you said famously. No, but records are manufactured, aren't they? Let's be honest. Like people, we're far removed from the days when people were fighting each other, and it weren't a big problem if you lost a fight. Now it seems like losing a fight could end someone's career when it shouldn't be like that, and it wasn't like that before. You know, people would even I mean, if you go to Ben and Eubank and Watson and that, they were kind of fighting each other almost in like a round robin. And prior to that, I mean, and you go back, you had the Four Kings, and they was all fighting each other and winning and losing and that, and it didn't disgrace someone's career. In fact, the fact that you were fighting the best made you the best. And I mean, I agree. But then that's another topic altogether. Protected records.
Well, I mean, I'll go back to what you're saying there. I mean, the thing is, these poor kids now that are turning pro, they ain't learning how to fight. You've got to learn how to fight before you really do fight. And the thing is, they're having 15 wins. They ain't learned how to fight, and they're getting in with someone that can fight, and they get hurt. You start putting these kids in with Olympians and things like that, and no disrespect, these kids ain't even had an amateur grounding. All they've had is, you can sell 500 tickets, bang, we put them on the show and we get them to win a fight. You know, so for me, I learned early on, having them hard fights. Look back at my record. Look at all the fights I've had on my record. But again, let's forget about the fights I lost before that. Not lost, I learned in before that. Because I was learning in the gym all the time. I was sparring the best. So when I ended up getting the Gomez fight, we got to 8 weeks before the fight and we went out there for a press conference. I see Yuri Geller at the airport. That's how I got...
Was that all by chance?
By chance,
no
just by chance. No, by chance.
Because I know what you're like, but if people don't know what you're like, I could imagine you seeing him and bowling over to him and just saying, listen.
Yeah. I said to him, wish me luck.
Did he know you were?
No, of course he did. For some lunatic. Listen.
How did that transpire?
Listen, if you're not Tyson Fury, you're not Anthony Joshua, you're not Billy Joe Saunders, no one knows who you are. No one knows who you are. And that's the truth. Do you know what I mean? I've missed a few out there, just trainers.
There's a couple of
there's a few out there.
Want to argue with you there.
Yeah. No, but I won't argue the point that if you walk through an airport, people will only know who Anthony Joshua is and Tyson Fury.
No, 100%.
You know what I mean?
100%. Unless they're fight fans. Every day.
And so I walked up to him and I said to him, I want any chance you can wish me luck for my fight. And he looked in my eyes and he said to me, I said, hello Yuri, my name's Peter. I just want to ask you if you wish me luck for my big fight in Dublin in 8 weeks' time, whatever it was. I'm going out for the press conference now. And he looked at me and said, Peter, you don't need luck. You're going to win. And that was a day I realised that the mind is stronger than the body or anything. Your mind is stronger than anything. And when you read my book, when it does come out eventually, trust me, you'll see what I've been through. You'll see what...
For anyone who don't know Peter's story, it's quite a phenomenal story. We won't go into it now, but it's got the plot of a film on steroids, literally. But again, boxers as steroids is another thing we'll talk about. Again, there's all these topics that keep popping up. But yeah, like you say about you touched about proud of mine. Sorry to interrupt. Obviously, with your everything that happened in your life prior to this point, you fighting the Gomez, it showed like you clearly must have known you had
showed my skill.
Did you know that you had such incredible?
No, I didn't. I didn't until Yuri Geller told me. Like, he told me, you're gonna win. So forget what he done with me after that, because it weren't what he done for me after. It was at that point that I realised there's no chance I'm losing. And so I went out for the press conference. At the press conference, he gave me loads of stick and said this and said that and said this, and not much I could say. He was a top level fighter. I looked up to Michael Gomez. He was he knocked out Alex Arthur. He was a top fighter. You know what I mean? Let's not say he was a former world champion, but as I say, it's a form of a world title. So when you talk about world champions, I talk about real world champions. Not he won a form of a world title. Yeah. Listen, the kid was European level, I think. He was a top European level fighter. You put him in there for world champions, and I think he'd give him a go. Do you know what I mean? But he was a European, fighter. But again, in this day and age, he'd been a world champion. That's the way I see it.
Where was this presser? In Dublin?
It was in Dublin.
How far before the fight?
This was 8 weeks out from the fight. And I remember him sticking his nut on me. He walked up to me, as the press conference finished, and Joe Egan was standing there as he goes. What's he called?
Most dangerous
white man on the planet.
White man alive, according to Mike Tyson.
Yeah. So Joe's a good friend of mine. He's a nice geezer, Joe. So he's come up to me. He's gone, "What?" He's done with his nut. So I've took a step back. I said, "Don't worry about that. You're going to get it on the night." And Joe Egan said to me at that point, he said, "I could see that you was serious in what you're going to do." Anyways, he thought he was 1-0 up in that.
Was it bullying tactics, or was he wild? Or
no, it was bullying tactics, wasn't it? That's all that was, you know what I mean? He's a nice geezer, Gomez. I spoke to him afterwards.
Yeah, but obviously prior to a fight, you're
going to
do whatever you can. But that was what it was. He does what intimidating.
He does what he does, you know what I mean? He does what he does. That's his way of doing it. Maybe that's what I picked up on when I fought Singleton and got myself an 8-month ban. But that's another subject we can talk about in later.
Of course,
yeah. So I went home for the Gomez. I went home. Yuri Geller took my number. Ended up going to Yuri Geller's house, doing a few mind bits and pieces and all that sort of stuff, and become quite good friends with Yuri Geller. And he just said, it's all about this. Give me a few books and things like that. And I worked on that because it was a lot of visualisation and all that sort of. It wasn't mumbo jumbo. It was visualisation and all that sort of stuff.
No, No, but a lot of top level sports.
Yeah, do it.
I mean,
Yeah,
talk
well,
about
it's
it,
Tiger Woods was using it years ago, and when
even
you
like Beckham, I remember when
Yeah.
Beckham scored that free
Yeah.
kick for England against Greece. That part apparently
Yeah.
he'd visualised that, and Ronaldo, and probably you look into all these people like LeBron James and
Yeah.
Tom Brady and all these like top level
Yeah.
world athletes. It's all about
Visualisation, yeah.
knowing your plays and knowing what you're gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, but again, so I got home. I done all that sort of stuff. Was about a month away from the fight, in tremendous shape. Like I said, 8 weeks, 12 weeks notice. Sparring was going brilliant. You know, I was knocking people over in sparring. Good fighters as well over in sparring. I thought, this is it, mate. It's working for me at lightweight. I was massive for a lightweight, massive 9'9". I was massive.
There's a noticeable size difference.
Yeah,
height difference in the fight.
yeah. I was massive, and I took that as an advantage as well because I thought he ain't the biggest lightweight.
No.
So I thought me coming down to that weight and doing it right, that would be an advantage for me as well.
Did you feel like you lost any strength doing that, or?
No, I thought I was at the best weight there, without a doubt. So anyways, so I got a month out from the fight. My wife's 8 months pregnant with my now little girl Shannon, and she comes home from the hospital one day crying her eyes out. She said, they've found a mole. They said they think it might be melanoma. I didn't even know what melanoma was, but obviously to anyone that don't know, it's a skin cancer. And I thought, I can't believe this. You know what I mean? But what I was doing with all that mind work kept my mind focused on the fight. And all I thought in my head was, don't worry about fighting Michael Gomez. You know, there's a bigger fight on my hands than that. But I am going to focus on this, and I am going to smash him to pieces. So, obviously, she had an operation a couple of weeks before the fight, and they took the mole away, and we was waiting on the results for the mole for, you know, it was well gone after the fight. So my head was obviously on that as well. But to be a top sports person, or when you've got a big challenge in front of you, you've just got to focus on that, you know. And so I went out to a week before the fight. Yuri Geller rang me up and he said, I've got you a surprise. And I said, what's that? He said, I'm gonna he said, give me your details, your passport details. He said, we're not going like. Funny enough, you just mentioned David Beckham. He said, you're not going on Ryanair or Aer Lingus. We're going on a private jet like David Beckham. And I looked and I went, what? He said, yeah. Meet me at Farnborough Airport tomorrow. We're going on a private jet. You're gonna fly like the best. So you're gonna be the best. I gets there. I gets on this private jet. There was me, Yuri Geller. And he's whatever he does his PR stuff and all that. And there was the air hostess and obviously the pilots. And I was on this plane and I thought, you know what, I love this. This is a bit of me. Do you know what I mean? And the air hostess walked up to me and said, you're a very lucky man. I said, why is that? She said, Bill Clinton was on this 3 days ago. I could not believe it when she said it. Obviously, I don't know what's going on with Bill Clinton, all that situation. It's another thing. And I flew into Dublin.
So, as Yuri Geller got hold of this jet, that's an interesting thing. I mean,
it was a man called Patrick Rocker. I met the man, Patrick Rocker. They own Rocker tiles. So when you look in toilets and things like that, on the toilet seats, on the toilet tops, you get Rocker tiles, and then tiles.
do a lot of bathroom
tile family.
ROCA.
Yeah. Massive family. So I said to Yuri, I've got to thank Patrick. He said, you won't get in like 10 mile of Patrick Rocker, blah, blah, blah. I said, look, you know, when I get back from there, I'd love to meet him and all that. So we flew out. Patrick Rocker, thanks to Patrick Rocker, rest in peace now, mate. You know, he took his own life, suicide. So rest in peace. And if any of his family are watching it, you know, he was a lovely man. So we flew out. We got there, no customs or nothing. Bang, straight off the plane, straight into a motor and gone. Got to the weigh-in. We had a press conference the day before. We had another press conference the day before, and it was Yuri Geller's going to bend your ribs. I'm going to bend your ribs like Yuri Geller bends spoons and all that sort of stuff. And you know, Yuri Geller like he bends you over, and it was a bit rough. You know what I mean? What he was saying and all that, but I kept me cool, relaxed. And I remember it was the night before the weigh-in. Coming to the hotel, and Candice was with me. She was obviously heavily pregnant at the time, and there was Michael Gomez, Billy Graham, Kerry Kays, and a few others. I'm not going to bother mentioning names, but a few others with Michael Gomez. I was on my own, and He walked up to me while I was with them, right in front of me. He said, "You what, tomorrow night I'm going to do it?" I said, "You're a big man." No, sorry. Saturday night I'm going to do something. I said, "You're a big man, aren't you?" I said, "See, all these people are all going to be gone on Saturday night. I'm going to smash you to pieces." Right? And he walked away, and apparently, whether it's true or not, he went back to his room and smashed his whole room up because he knew he'd lost that night. He knew he'd lost that night. And I've done that with a million of my opponents. Again, got to the weigh-in day, both weighed in, made the weight nice, comfortable. All of a sudden, bang, jumps on me and tries to have a fight with me.
Yeah.
So I just grab him, chuck him over. Again,
when that happened, I mean, what's it like when you get close quarters to someone and did you feel that you were stronger than him?
Yeah.
Naturally stronger, with the head like, taller. Did you just get him off you like with ease, or was he on you? Like, I mean,
no.
Did that give you a little bit of an insight about what was going to happen?
It was
the next day?
It was more mentally. I thought you're finished. You're finished. I've done you. I've done you mentally. And this never stopped here. I've done you mentally. Right? Let me tell you something. If a million people think you can do it and you think you can't, you're not going to do it. If a million people think you can't do it, but you think you can do it. That is 100% true. Trust me. Right? So we get to the weigh-in day. That all happens. All of a sudden, one of my sponsors shouts over, "Pete, have you seen the odds on this fight?" I said, "What do you mean what's the odds?" He said, 125 to 1. I said, "You won't give like a three-legged horse that odds. It's madness, right?"
It's crazy odds.
So I thought, something's not adding up here. This is not right, mate. Hold up a minute. This is no 50-50 fight. This is like, I'm coming over here to get smashed to pieces. You know, he told me it's going to be a 2-round job. It's going to be a 2-round job. I said,
well, I mean, even in the start of the fight, in the commentary, on the RTE commentary, they say, one of the commentators says something along the lines of, "That's even if it goes around."
Yeah.
And it's like, he was odds on favourite. I've never seen favouritism like it.
Well, look at
the board.
Look at him. He's looking like a caged lion. Talking like he's Mike Tyson. No disrespect, but he's not Mike Tyson.
No.
Right? But even if it was Mike Tyson, I won't care. Don't care who I fight. You know, and again, so it got to... So he said about the odds and all that, right? All of a sudden, I thought, this ain't...
So what was it? What were you saying the odds were? 125 to 1?
It was 5 to 1, so I was 125 to 1 every round.
To stop him?
Any round,
right.
yeah. So, but listen, people, put money on. I said, listen, not putting no money in it. I'm focusing on the fight. I've got no like interest in odds or whatever. I don't care, because beating him, don't matter whether I don't make... I'll tell people what the purse was as well. The purse for that fight was €5,500. €5,500. So that weren't going to change my life. I think I'd spent that before I got out of Dublin. But again, you know, it was the opportunity. As you get in boxing, dangle the carrot and he'll just keep fighting. So I got the opportunity. So where was I at? Yeah, so it come to fight day. So fight day, I've done all my mind work, done all my mind stuff. And thanks to Yuri Geller, because I carried on doing that. I ended up working after with a man called Rory McLaren, number 1 Harley Street. I thought I'd just give them both a shout out there. But you know, and then it got to the day, and then we got to the arena. People saying, "You nervous? You nervous?" I said, "No, I'm not nervous." I said, I'm not nervous."
Did you get nervous before fights?
Yeah, I do, but little nerves, like weird nerves. I get excited, but I just love having a fight. I just love having a fight. Like, I'm not a tough man. I'm not any, but boxing, I love it. I used to love having a fight. Anyways. So I get to the arena, they give me Reyes gloves. I put my left one on, I thought, oh, that's beautiful. It feels so comfortable, right? They put my right one on, I couldn't get my hand in right, I swear, I couldn't get my hand in the glove right. I've still got the glove indoors. Couldn't get it right in my hand. And I said, I want to change the gloves. They said, we've got no more gloves. I said, but you should have 3 sets for a title fight. Yeah. And they went, no, that's the only gloves we've got. And Yuri come up to me and said, don't worry, that's the shot that's going to do the damage. And that glove, I could barely get my fingers in. But you know, when he said that, it felt like my hand was perfect in it. It's mad out of mind. The mind thinks, right? So they come to just before I was relaxed, bit of shadow boxing. I'm buzzing now. I'm feeling like I'm in there again. And I was relaxed. We walked out into this corridor. There was 2 corridor bits in the National Stadium. If anyone don't know the National Stadium in Dublin, it's the only purpose-built place in the world for boxing. Yeah. It's the only purpose-built place in the world. And we got a fight sitting now for the UFC. I hope they do something like that with in Britain, because especially with all this bubble and all that sort of thing, that they could probably do that, and we could have a little fight island. Just anyone out in Dublin now wants to know about that, because I think that'd be a great thing for the National Stadium, as it's a boxing arena all year round. So we're out in the thing, and we're facing each other, and I remember him, right, and he's bouncing on the spot. He went, "You ready? You ready?" And I swear, I said, "Look at you, you ugly." See you, the bad word. I said, "Look at you, you ugly bang." Right, I ain't gonna say it because I like to keep my channel a little bit. No, don't want to swear on it. Yeah. So I said, "Look at you, you ugly little." And then he just looks at me. He starts punching. I thought, I've got him. And I remember walking to the ring. I never even had anyone cheering for me. And I thought, oh mate, I'm where I'm from.
Well, to be fair, you come in black and a little bit of a silver trim, but he came in the tricolour.
Yeah, tricolour.
So he was the fans' favourite, the nation's favourite. Yeah. He was wearing the flag.
But the funny thing is, I always wore the flag.
Prior to that,
when I went on it, but I didn't think that I had to do that in Ireland. I didn't think that I had to do that in Ireland. I had Galway on my leg in Gaelic. And so I got to the ring, I was bouncing, waiting for him to come, and all his music come on, the crowd was going mad. There was everyone, Westlife was ringside. It was a big occasion in Ireland. And he got to the ring, and I thought, you know what? I thought he looks small. I thought he looks tiny. I thought, do you know what I mean? Just all I've got to do, relax, keep him behind the jab. And I pictured before in the fight what was going to happen. Even when I got to the top rope, I jumped over the top rope. I've never done that in my life. I don't even know why I've done it.
I've never seen you move that quick.
Yeah, and I jumped over the ring, and I thought, do you know what? This is my time, right? And obviously the fight went on. First round I went out, bang, hit him with a jab.
So yeah, let's talk about round by round, blow by blow. Not specifically blow by blow.
Yeah.
I mean, the first round, commentary went on like he won it with ease. Like, listen, there's an argument it'll go both ways, or there was argument that it was a draw.
Yeah.
He came in. He was going for body shots. You were tight. You were compact.
Yeah.
And you were letting go with jab. With a 1-2 here and there.
Yeah,
you were connected.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. He was applying pressure.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. He was coming in. He was moving. He was just trying to work the body. But every time he relented, you hit him with a body shot or two body shots, either one side, and then with a 1-2.
Yeah.
But in the commentary, I mean, as with all boxing, sometimes it's better to watch it without a commentary. I find, because your mind ain't polluted to what the comment. Listen, boxing, we know is a business, and people are the favourites for a reason, for business purposes and for sporting purposes, and the people, pundits and commentators, unfortunately, seem to have a bit of a what's the what am I looking for? A bit of a bias to one of the fighters. But if you watch that fight, obviously you probably have watched it about many a time. But if you're watching it live, you could easily have bought into the fact that Gomez was applying pressure and connecting shots. But how many times he was hitting your arms?
I mean, again, to anyone out there who's watching this video, who is going to become a professional boxer or on their way, boxing's about hitting and not being hit, right? Watch that fight, right? I don't class myself as a so-called world champion. I don't class myself as, the greatest fighter in the world. But I'll tell you what I did have. I had very, very good foundations. And the foundations of coming from the Fisher Amateur Boxing Club, big shout out to Steve Iser. Steve Iser trained Lloyd Hannigan as well. So Steve Iser's had some cracking fighters. Dave Walker, Matthew Thurwell. There's been a lot of fighters out the Fisher. Terry Downs come from the Fisher.
Even now you've got good fighters coming out.
Yeah, you've got loads of good fighters. Ted Cheeseman, I wouldn't say his defence is great. But good fighter, Ted, British champion. You look at the foundation, my movement on my feet, my jab. When the shots are coming in inside, blocking, rolling. I didn't have a great chin. I won't dispute I didn't have a good chin. But even when he was hitting me on the chin, it was like, he was hitting nothing. But, I ride a lot of shots as well. But going back...
He was hitting your guard a lot of the time. Yeah. To the body, to the head. Yeah. Coming through a couple of times. Did you feel any power? Could you feel that... Was there anything that concerned you in them first rounds?
No, they weren't. Do you know what? He hit me with a little shot. I think it might have been the first round. It was like a little jab to the body. And I felt that. It was like right in the solar plexus. I felt that a little bit. I thought, whoa, I thought, is he holding back or is he like, but I think the shot just hit me sweet. Like, I thought, oh, I felt that. But
sometimes it's the timing, sometimes it's how you are.
But apart from that, I never felt nothing. But again, you could have hit me with a transit van. Nothing would ever knock me over, you know. I was a pro 17 years. I never touched the canvas once. I never even come close to touching the canvas. So, again, they give me the script. But what they didn't realise was that in that script, I was going to turn the fight over. I was going to win that fight. So, I thought it was all going well. So, the first round, on my jab, you know, boxing, letting them have a go, seeing what he has really got. Because it's nice to feel someone out and feel what they've got. But at the same time, I thought the round was a draw. Listen, I felt I could nick the round, I'll be honest with you.
Look, listen, there's an argument both ways, if we're honest, but...
Look at Gomez, he's in there, he's ready to roar.
That's how it was portrayed.
That's how people were talking about, look at Gomez. Go on this channel now, right? Voice from the corner, and you watch.
Have you posted the fight?
Yeah, the fight's just gone on. You watch the fight, right? You watch the fight. Watch my interview afterwards. Exactly how I'm talking now is exactly how this fight happened, right? And in the second round, I've come out. So they said, look, it's still going to be a bit cagey in this round, right? And if you watch at the end of the second round, he looks at me before he turns to his corner. Watch what he does. He looks at me and I say, I'm still here. I'm not going nowhere. I was playing with his head in that ring.
Well, yeah, there was a bit of an exchange there. I was going to ask you what was said there.
In that ring.
There's a bit there at the end of the bell. The pair of you look at each other. There's something said. Obviously.
I'll just say that to him. I'll say, I'm still here. I'm not going nowhere. So he knows it's a long night. And I could see as the rounds were going on, he was starting to panic. Then we was getting the commentators going, but what you got to realise is I was touching him with a jab, I was touching him with the right hand. But then after about 2 rounds, I started softening him up with the left hook to the body.
Yeah.
I started touching the left hook to the body. Because I knew he was dangerous with his right hand over the top and his left hook. So I thought, if I start dropping too early, I could end up getting clipped with one. Right? I still was cautious of what he could throw. Yeah? But I weren't worried about what he was going to throw, because I was thinking about myself. But for me, I was one of them fighters that was teached right, and it was like snooker. I wouldn't think of the shot that was coming. I'd think of the shot that was coming after that shot. I wouldn't be thinking of that shot that's coming. I think, right, now he's going to try and throw this. And then I'd work it out like that. So it went back after the end of the third round and he goes, and he's throwing his jab, but his jab's got nothing in it. Oh, Gomez has got a little cut over the left eye, but that's no problem for Gomez. You know, it was like he was bulletproof.
Yeah, it was almost like they were making out you weren't getting through. But at the end of the round, he had a cut above the eye.
Yeah.
And then I think it was at the end of the third.
End of the fourth.
But then you cut him again, I think.
Yeah. End of the third, end of the third.
Yeah, so a cut above and a cut below, didn't it?
No. One there and one there.
Yeah.
It was one of both. So,
but you supposedly weren't. Getting through.
Yeah. These shots are doing nothing to Gomez. Just let me tell anybody out there that wants to listen to this as well. See, with an 8-ounce Reyes horsehair glove on, yeah, a little baby could hit you and it would hurt you. Trust me. It's like getting hit with a brick. That's what it's like getting hit with a brick. So them little touches and the little nicks and the little thing, they bust you up. Trust me. And I knew it was just about chopping that tree down. But remember, I was maybe an 80-20 going into that fight. 80-20, you know what I mean? They fancied him 80% all day long, probably 90%, you know. And then I remember him going back after the fourth round, I thought, he's gassing. Because we got inside at one point, it was like a clinch. And I threw a couple of uppercuts. And he'd usually throw back, but he never threw nothing back. And I thought, that's it. I've got him. I know. He has gassed himself out, right? And we comes out in the fifth round, and I thought, right. And I said to my corner, I'm going to take him apart now. I'm going to take him apart. And they went, no, relax. I said, I'm going to take him apart. He's ready for the taking. And if you watch the fight, just before we have a little hold, and then we come off each other, my mate, who was a world champion as well, Matthew Barney, he was a WBU version of world title, Matthew Barney. He was good awkward fighter he was. And he went, pick it up, Peter, pick it up. You can hear his voice say it. And as he does that, Gomez comes in, I throw a right hand over the top, there, and it hits him, but it just sort of brings his guard away from his head. But as it does, his left hand comes up here. As his left hand comes up here, his right hand comes up here, I go, whop, and I hit him underneath with a left hook. Takes everything out of him, right? But you know when he turned his back, and I started hitting him, I weren't hitting him hard because I thought he's going to react in a minute.
No, you can see that.
I didn't know what
you're not loading up.
Yeah, it was like I was just touching him.
Yeah.
I was thinking, what's going on here? What's going on here? Yeah, I was thinking, what's going on here? And all of a sudden, I thought the last 2 shots are sunk home. I thought, right now it's time. Where was the referee? Where did the referee come in between us and stop the fight? That's what makes it even worse. But the referee must have thought, hold up a minute, I've got my script here. He's supposed to be getting knocked out, not this geezer's supposed to be getting knocked out.
I think no one knew what was happening.
Yeah. No, but I still think the referee thought, hold up a minute, what's going on here? They've told me Gomez is winning this fight. You know what I mean? Let's be real here. And then I've hit him again, it's gone over. But I'm not even saying they was massive punches. They weren't massive punches. But when he went over and he got up and he went back to the corner, I knew what had happened. He had jacked it. He
gets up and he walks. He's not. You could see they weren't concussive punches.
No. I don't dispute that.
He dropped him.
I don't dispute that.
But he got up. He got up early. He just had enough.
Yeah.
And I mean, look. Listen. He'd had a period of inactivity before the fight.
Yeah.
This is how I've seen it anyway. He's come in first. Definitely the first 2 rounds, he's tried to apply pressure and go to the body.
Well, there was no way that was a fixed fight because you wouldn't go out in the first 2 rounds.
No, because he was trying to take you out. He was trying to take you out from the get-go, for the body shots.
Yeah.
And he obviously, he wasn't getting through with the body shots. Now and then there was a couple of shots he caught you in the middle, through the middle, and then a couple of uppercuts.
Yeah.
Majority of them shots were hitting.
Yeah.
And I don't think he just couldn't see a way through.
Gloves,
you could see
elbows.
He was slowing up.
Yeah.
You weren't. You were still compact.
Yeah.
But then saying that, in the 4th, you started to drop your guard.
Yeah.
And we're just
I relaxed. I started relaxing because I thought.
But they don't say anything about that.
I thought, what's all this hype about?
You can half gauge their the commentators a little bit like, what's going on here? Like, the man's. Because you've gone.
No, that man. He's only having a rest. He's going to come back the next round. It's like they was like.
You're going to scare the kids.
Yeah, no, but it's like they was thinking, hold up a minute, what's going on here? Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like he's got to be having a rest.
Because Gomez is having a rest.
Yeah, Gomez is unbelievable.
Yeah. But you dropped the guard. I mean, it shows that you weren't fearful of his power on the day.
But I knew it was gone by then. I drained everything out of him.
Yeah.
Listen, I drained everything out of him mentally. Do you know what I want to do? Do you know what I think could happen in boxing? People are going to think I'm crazy, right? I think people think
do already.
Yeah, I think they do already. But you know what I think? Do you know what I think you could do in boxing? I believe you could train a fighter without even training them. Yeah, right. Teach a fighter without even training them. And what I mean by that is, I think mentally, just to get a fighter mentally ready. Right. This is going to be for another, like we say, another topic, right? But I reckon I've done 20 camps in the pub. 20 camps, easy in the pub.
But
4 days notice, pissed and come out. But mentally, in the right place.
But you'd had years and years of good amateur foundation.
Yeah.
So you knew your footwork, your guard was tight. As a unit,
I learned properly.
So that's one thing. But I mean, like these days.
People
ain't even got that.
We've got to this subject. Sorry to come off the Gomez fight again, people. But we come off that subject again. It's going to be another subject we're going to go on to. But I'm just going to give you a little example, right? Yeah? British fighters, yeah? I couldn't count on one hand how many British fighters have got the unit, right? There's a unit which you're seeing with these other fighters coming from other countries. I'm not going to start mentioning names now even, yeah? Right? But look at the elite fighters. They're all a compact unit. We've got a few in this country, but a few of them fall apart after 5 or 6 rounds, right? But do you know why they all come as units and they are the way they are and why their foundation's so great? Because they turn professional with their amateur trainer. They don't go with a trainer, yeah, who's an Instagram star, a YouTube star, a pad star. I mean, don't start talking about it because we'll go on to that in that'll be another topic. So I think it's big enough to be another topic. Talk about that sort of side of things.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
That's what I'm saying. I believe that why they stay compact and they're a unit as a fighter is because they turn pro with their professional amateur boxing coaches. When people go pro with these pro boxing coaches, they like the way they do pads or something, but they're taking away what they are really good at. Do you know what I mean? So, anyways.
Well, I see even today, I mean, like, there's a young protege out there, Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah.
He's actually called out Buddy McGirt Today.
What?
Today.
What months of training?
No, he's not in a good way, but it's something again we'll talk about another time about amateur fighters going with these pro coaches that actually don't do anything for them.
Well,
I even saw. Sorry to interrupt you again. I see Tony Jeffries as well put a thing up on Instagram. I think it was today or yesterday, talking about how the difference between his amateur career with Team GB, then going to a pro, having to find a pro coach, pay for his expenses, pay for medical bills and that, and not even get the support and teaching that he did with Team GB.
That's another subject again. Like
touching on subjects, Pete.
But Buddy McGirt. Just going back to Buddy McGirt now. You brought it up about Buddy McGirt. Buddy McGirt's favourite saying is "Fake it till you make it, baby." Fake it till you make it, baby. Nah, mate, you can't do that in boxing. You can't do that. How the fuck? It's making me vexed because it's making me want to swear. But how can you fake it till you make it and ruin kids' careers? You're putting a kid in there to get killed. It's not a game where people. It's not tiddlywinks.
No.
They're in each other to hurt each other. So I believe that you can't start using things like that. You can't stop. Again, we'll talk about it another day. I've gone right off the subject here because I think that's a good topic, 100%. Right? So we got into the 5th round. Done him with them shots. He went over. The fight finished. I done my pre-fight interview, and as I said, post-fight interview, and as I said in my post-fight interview, they brought me over here to bash me up. But you know what? I even give the promoter a shout out, and I said, listen, I'll sit down tomorrow. And we'll try and sort the strategy out to get a big fight for the Irish people, a European title fight, right, for the Irish people. And I thought, this is unbelievable. I went back to the change room. We went back to a post-fight press conference, and I sat in the press conference, right, and I felt like I was on top of the world. And all people were saying to me, that was a fix. I smell a rat. This happened, that happened, and I got up out of my chair and I threw the table up in the air and I said, I've done a little bit of a Derek Chisora, but I've done it for the real reasons, right? I said to everyone, I said, see all you people, I said, look at my eyes. I said, do you think this is a fix? 2 black eyes, my ribs are hurting. You know what I mean? I said, see, I'll tell you what I've done to him. I broke his heart and then broke him in pieces. I said, I can't believe you're all saying this about me. And it went on for 3 weeks. So I was in Ireland for 3 weeks after that
even
fight.
Immediately after the fight, watching it live, or even if you watch it back, they go straight to the pundits at the time. One of them was Steve Collins, who don't even beat around the bush and outrightly says or alludes to the fact that the fight was fixed and he, what you just said, the term smells a rat. It was him that said that. I mean, obviously he was a brilliant Irish champion as well. I mean, have you ever had any conversation or discourse with him about it? Has anything ever been said about it? I don't know.
Well, I think about 2 weeks after that, he was in the papers for nicking a barbecue out at B&Q. So I don't think he was mentally in the right place as well. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe.
You know, and I'm one of the people who can sit there and talk about mental health. You know, again, it's another story again. But I lost my brother to mental health. So at the end of the day, you know, there's no reason for him to have spoke like that about me. He knew what I was about. He'd seen me in Jim's training. He knew what I was about. And I told him just before the fight, I've had 12 weeks notice, Steve. I can't believe they've given me 12 weeks notice. They are going to ring the police. They're going to think this is an assault, the damage I'm going to do to this man. Do you know what I mean? And like I say, when I sat at that press conference, and I'm going to be honest, totally honest with you on camera here, right? When I sat at that press conference after that fight, this is the truth. Right, when they were saying all that, I was sitting there and my heart was sinking. And I thought, see you lot, right? Do you know what? I should swear because I think it'll make it look a lot more personal, but I just don't want. I don't like to do that, right? But do you know what? I was sitting there and I was thinking, see all you people, you could ruin my life, you know. And not only could you ruin my life, yeah, my wife has just been diagnosed with cancer, and you're sitting there, you know, my biggest opportunity of my life, yeah, and you're messing it up. You know, it's you know, and I ended up going back to my sister's after that, and we went down at Carrow. We had a great reception.
Proper Galway.
25 mile back from Galway to Connemara to Carrow. We had bonfires in every corner. So I was stopping in every corner with my belt with a bonfire. I felt like throwing the belt in the bonfire a few times because I was sick at that point. And I was out there. I was getting so much press and media. And I'll tell you what, and I'm going to say something here, for the likes of Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, these people get a lot of press. Believe me, people, there's a lot of pressure when press comes on, especially when it's bad press. But Yuri Geller was ringing me all the time. Pete, don't worry, any press is good. Any press is good press. It's publicity. But
is that what you told Michael Jackson?
Yeah. It was hard. But I'll tell you what, I was drinking every day. I was taking substances every day because it broke me. And if people want to know now what my best fight was and what made my career, it was Michael Gomez. But it also broke my career, right? And I went on to have a further 29 fights after that. I won more titles, yeah. But I tread water for all them years because I never went beyond beating Michael Gomez. And I wasted my time for all them years. People can say, oh, you didn't because you done this and, your last 13 fights you won and this and that. But for me, that is when my career was over. And that's when I realised that I was never given the script. I've got to be honest with you, the last 7 years of my career with MTK, I was a granddad at that time. But they'd done very well with me, MTK, and I won a few belts. And they'd done great for me at my age at that time. But I was a granddad. Let's be honest, I was 35 years old. Do you know what I mean? Listen, I believe if I was given the opportunity, straight after the Michael Gomez fight, I was out in the ring 2 years after that. I was out in Canada tarmacking. Even better story than that, I was out in Canada tarmacking. Someone rang me up and said, do you want to fight? I said, 3 weeks' time, blah, blah, blah. We was in a fur shop, New York's fur in Toronto. And I'll tell you, I was sitting there talking to someone, and all of a sudden he said, I said, I'm a boxer. I said, but there's nothing going on at the moment. I'm out here tarmacking. Anyways, I'm out there tarmacking. All of a sudden, a man walks in. He goes, I've got a promotion in 3 weeks' time. I've got a kid. What weight are you? And he said, he's too small for you. He's a welterweight. I was about 14 and a half stone at the time. I was loving it. I was just eating and that. So I said, don't worry about that. I'll make the weight in 3 weeks. I'll be there. Don't worry. He said, listen, he's had 13. He's knocked out 12 of them. Cristiano Floriani, Romanian. I said, I'll tell you what I'll do with you. I want that jacket there. $6,500. It was a mink black jacket. I said, I want that jacket there. I said, when I beat him, I didn't say if, when I beat him, shook his hand. I said, when I beat him, I want you to buy me that jacket. He said, all right, we'll have a deal. And then Prince come walking in. Obviously, God rest his soul, he's dead now. But he come walking in he had 2 Russian girls with him and a geezer with him. And he bought a fur jacket, purple fur jacket. It's sort of low on that. And obviously, then I went off and then I went and beat the kid and I got my fur jacket.
You still got it to this day?
Still got it to this day, man. Nice mink jacket. So, again...
Like a rapper?
Again, listen, I'm going to leave this this little chat here and I'll be on again to talk about more boxing stories. But the fight that made me and broke me was Michael Gomez. And it breaks my heart still today. And Michael Gomez was a shot and finish fighter when he boxed me. Was he really? Was it 2 years later, a year and a half later? He come on the scene and fought Emir Khan and dropped Emir Khan. So Michael Gomez still had a lot left inside him. So for me, I've done everything right. 12 weeks notice. They give me the script. They didn't give me the script. They give me the whole script, but they didn't give me the baton after I knocked out Michael Gomez. So what can I say? You all know the story now. There will be more of the story going in the book because there is other parts of the story as well, but I ain't got too long to sit here and talk about it. But I'd like to say thanks to Dan, my co-host.
Thank you, Peter.
I'll get him on again soon and we'll talk some more boxing stories.
Yeah, throw some topics and we'll discuss them.
Send us some messages in. You can send them into Voice from the Corner, Twitter, at McDonough Peter, or you can send it to Peter McDonough Boxer on Instagram. Thanks for all the support, and this is the real boxing channel, the real people's channel, and the real fans channel. So we'll get fans on if they want to talk or whatever you want to do. But I feel like now I'm going to have a co-host because if I'm just in front of a camera, it's a lot harder. I mean, I can feel it flowing a lot better already. When I'm on my own doing it, just sitting in my front room, do you know what I mean, depressed with my belly hanging out, my white fronts on, ain't too good, is it? Looking like Johnny Five Billies. So I'll leave it to Danny to finish off. Please subscribe and smash that notification button. I'm trying to be a YouTuber, people.
But, mate, stick to being a boxer. Yeah. Listen, thanks for having me, Pete. And it'd be a pleasure to have another conversation with you in the future about a number of topics. I think we brushed on a few topics today that can be explored, and we could discuss the narrative of boxing at the moment. And
yeah, definitely. And we'll still come back with our predictions. And I think it's better if I've got someone here as well to break down the predictions, break down why I think someone's going to win, because I'm not only going to tell you that someone's going to win, I'm going to break down how I think they can win. I'm going to break down how I think the other person can win, but I think the reason why that other person don't win, because I think people get a bit confused with what I say sometimes and think I'm digging people out. I don't want to dig people out, but I am real, and I'm going to say it as it is.
Listen, if you know Pete, you know he's straight down the line, honest, and if he weren't that way, he wouldn't be him. So, yeah, I think...
Listen,
look forward to the predictions.
And no more of that brick top.
If you like that, give us a like, comment and a subscribe. You big dosser.